The Demon's Hole. Maelstrom.
Okay, so I just got rated by my full-blooded model sibling and my Kamiyoshi. Oh my fucking lord. What is today? What is today? What even is today? What is going on? I was gone for all of 10 minutes to get food. I come and I see this shit. Oh my lord. So when we left off, we were specifically looking at the fighting game side of the Dead or Alive franchise. So for anyone here who's a bit new to fighting games and who's new to the Dead or Alive franchise, there's two different series in Dead or Alive. There's the fighting game series, which I play on a regular basis, and there's the spin-off series, which is the Extreme series, literally called Dead or Alive Xtreme. And a lot of characters in the franchise are exclusive to that. Now we're getting into Dead or Alive Xtreme, and this is where I feel like a lot of these girls are probably all gonna end up in like the same 2 or 3 categories. I'm gonna say flat out right now that I don't consider any of these girls potential wife material at all. Like at this point, the ones at the top are the ones at the top, and they are fucking immovable. So, and like a few of the girls in girlfriend material are like, a lot of them are like borderline on wife material. Like there's like 1 or 2 things that kind of keep me from putting them in that top tier, but yeah, for those of y'all who are new here who didn't hear me go over like what all the categories are, starting at the bottom we have no, which is really kind of self-explanatory. Like I would not be acquaintances with this person, I would not interact with this person at all. Like there is nothing I really find appealing outside of maybe looks in a couple cases, but like generally, for the most part, if they're in the no category, that means I want absolutely nothing to do with them at all. And my reasons for those are, in my opinion, kind of valid. But I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And then we have cute/hot acquaintance, which means I wouldn't really be a friend of theirs. And then above cute/hot acquaintance, we have close friend. So these are people that I would, you know, to use the hackneyed term, quote unquote, friend zone. I don't really like using that word, but, and then possible friend with benefits, I literally just explained that. Girlfriend material, pretty straightforward. Like this is someone that I would absolutely be happy to date. I would absolutely be their significant other. I would be there for them, knowing how they are, knowing how their personality is. They would in all likelihood be there for me, and I would be happy. They'd probably be happy. And there are like some aspects to their character arcs that would probably prevent them from being in wife material. Like for example, this girl here, Kasumi. The only reason she isn't wife material is because in her lore she is a ninja who abandoned her clan, and generally speaking, if you abandon a ninja clan, they hunt you for the rest of your goddamn life. And then of course the top tier is wife material. Literally characters whose personalities, whose looks, whose stories and lore, like everything about them is very much the kind of, makes them the kind of person that me personally, I would be like, yeah, I would absolutely marry this person 100%. That being said, it's wife material is probably only gonna have those 4. We are now getting into Dead or Alive Xtreme characters, and this is where things are gonna get a little weird. And we are going alphabetically too. So first up, we have this girl here, Amy. So according to lore, Amy is a college student. She is a tech specialist. And she is apparently a prodigy, as she apparently reached graduate school at the tender age of 8 freaking teen. Like apparently she was 18 when she hit graduate school. That's absolutely insane. She claims in lore that that's due more to intense focus on her studies rather than being inherently smart. From what I understand, like as a person, she's apparently she is very much a tsundere character, so So, the typical girl who starts to fall for you, but in person is in complete fucking denial about it. But apparently, from what I understand, that nature of hers is more due more to like, it's like a result of insecurity because she doesn't really have a lot of experience interacting with people. Like, like I said, she's like a very hard studying person. So like, her being a tsundere is born more of the fact that she just doesn't have a lot of experience talking to people. So, she meets someone that she starts having a crush on, and that person has a crush on her. Well, like, apparently the only way she really knows how to deal with it is deny that she likes them in front of their faces while internally going absolutely nuclear blushing. So, if I'm being 1000% honest, I would consider that girlfriend material, honestly. I would date Amy. Like, speaking purely, like, just being purely honest, like, I have nothing against someone who has a bit of insecurity in that regard. Like, and one thing about getting to know somebody is that, especially someone who has, like, insecurities with, like, interacting with people, generally speaking, the more you interact with them, the more comfortable they will get. And over time, that can develop into a relationship. And even if it doesn't, I would still consider her a close friend anyway. And because I'll be honest, like a girl who's that freaking hardworking and that smart, if she applies how she approaches her studies to how she approaches anything else in her life, that is someone worth keeping around, dude. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna put Amy. Up next from the Xtreme series, we have one of the most recent additions to the series, Azusa. Okay, so here's the thing about the newest characters in the Xtreme series. We do not know dick about them. I actually have the wiki page pulled up right now. Biography blank, character blank, and I'm directly quoting the wiki here. Azusa is shown to have a tough and straightforward exterior. She also has a bit of a tomboyish demeanor to her, which I find attractive, as evidenced by her tendency to use male-associated terms when speaking, using the masculine first-person pronoun ore in conversation. Okay, so she's also very Japanese. Okay, got that. So yeah, we basically know fuck and all about Azusa, so that kind of automatically puts her in acquaintance. Perfect, she is what you would like her to be. Use your imagination. Up next, we have... Okay, so this next girl is actually one of the more popular of the Xtreme characters. A lovely lady by the name of Elise. A managerial young woman and a former owner of the Venus Islands. So this girl's successful, and she was apparently popular enough that she made her debut in the first Xtreme Venus Vacation, and then made another appearance in the most recent one, that being Prism, which is a dating sim. And it says here, Elise is depicted as blunt and professional, notably directly telling the owner, that being the player character in Venus Vacation, that she intends to teach him how to do a better job at running the island. Owing to her professional demeanor, she is also shown to be a firm believer in absolute efficiency, understandable, often insisting that the owner focus on his duties and nothing else, due to viewing anything other than his immediate job as a waste of time. So she's very much a career girl. It is implied her demands that the owner focus entirely on the Venus Festival, to the exclusion of all else, is rooted in her own failure to set up the festival on time. Interesting. Aside from professional demeanor, she's shown to be kind, as evidenced by her volunteering to take Misaki's place. So this is getting into like Venus Vacation story stuff. Also willing to make friends, especially if it's part of her tasks. Okay. Anyway, so with that being said, so she's highly professional when it comes to her job, and apparently is very insistent on separating recreation from work, based on what I just read, which means she's very responsible, and apparently is successful enough that she at one point was an owner of the Venus Islands, which is where the Venus Vacation games take place. So girl Girl's got a brain in her head. Girl can think. Girl is focused, and girl is dedicated, and apparently is kind-hearted and willing to step in for other people if they need help. So with all that being said, while I'm not really sure how she would be in the long term, I can definitely see her being girlfriend material. I mean, just speaking honestly, like if she's well put together enough to be able to run a set of islands, which basically a resort, like she can run a resort herself, and like she's willing, like she can take accountability for failing to do something, although notably, you know, making sure you don't repeat the same thing as the new owner of the Venus Islands. And again is a kind-hearted and warm individual. So yeah, I would say that sounds like good girlfriend material to me. Up next, we have Fiona. Okay, so we are getting into royalty. Literal royalty, because this girl is canonically a princess. Personality: Fiona is very deeply love-struck with so she's the type to fall in love pretty easily. Got it. To the extent that she went to the island solely to be closer to the owner. Okay, so she's the kind of person who, she gets a crush on someone, she will throw money around to make sure she is near that person. Okay, gotcha. Repeatedly alluded to having a castle near a lake, yep, royalty, and at one point implied that she spent enough time within its walls that she was surprised at how vast so she's royal and sheltered. Got it. She also has a very romantic aspect to her personality, as aside from her being deeply in love with the owner, she also formulated the dancing party of love and was known to vow to do things by the power. Oh, she's one of those. She's a freaking Sailor Moon character at that point. Known to vow to do things by the power of love. Okay, so she's sheltered to the point of kind of being dumbed when it comes to anything outside of her castle. Apparently, she falls in love very easily because of a fairy tale she was told, and wow, okay. Okay, so she's very, very, very much a love-struck type, very much the type to go out of her way to do absolutely anything to be near the person of her interest, but is apparently pretty freaking dumb because she has been sheltered her whole life and has not seen much of the outside world. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like if I'm honestly thinking about if I would be willing to like really be close to this person, I think I'm going to go with acquaintance for this one. Like, it's not that I would have anything, it's not like I would have anything against being with someone like this, but I don't know, I feel like it would strain my patience to breaking point, trying to just talk about normal things in my life. And she has absolutely no fucking comprehension of it because she's spent most of her life living in a damn castle. Like an actual honest-to-God fairy tale princess. Like, I think she would just be an acquaintance of mine. I would not consider her for an actual, like, significant other. Like, very, very lovely person from what I'm hearing, based on what I read. You know, very, very love-struck, very warm-hearted, and obviously very willing to show what her feelings are, but it would be, I'm not sure if I would be able to handle her having culture shock at every other thing. Up next, we have Kana. Okay, this is where things get a little weird. So Kana is an Oni. She is literally an Oni girl, and in case you can't tell, she has horns and fangs, and she has animal-ish eyes. So this, if that's not a giveaway, I don't know what is. So she's an Oni, which the fact that she's a supernatural being immediately kind of... This is where things immediately get a little weird, because it's like, okay, you're not even... For starters, you're not even human. So that's already going to cause some issues. She is kind of cute. I have absolutely nothing against, you know, someone who's short and petite. I do find that attractive. But, you know, as I've been establishing, you know, it takes more than a cute appearance to actually interest me. So Kana is shown to be very casual with the owner, arguably rivaling even Misaki, as evidenced by her constantly referring to him by very informal terms. So apparently she's very casual with the player character. Similar to her rival and sort of friend Nyotengu. Oh great, she knows she knows Miss Thirst. Okay. Kana is shown to be a jokester, such as her at times lying about certain elements. Okay, so she's kind of dishonest. She is prone at times to throwing tantrums, so she has a temper. Namely when she doesn't get her way or when Nyotengu gets involved. So she's a brat, is what I'm hearing. So basically what I'm hearing from this is that she's a bratty version of Frieren. Apparently she's well over 1,000 years old. She has a temper and throws tantrums when she doesn't get her way. She sees Nyotengu as a rival, apparently. What I'm hearing here is that she's basically a massive brat and apparently gets lonely when she realizes that she's gonna outlive everybody. Unlike Nyotengu, she has some knowledge of modern technology, okay, such as dox... Okay, yep, nope. Nope, that immediately puts her in no. Just straight up nope. It's the bratty behavior, the fact that she throws tantrums if she doesn't get her way, and the fact that apparently she knows how to dox people. Yeah, I'm gonna say no to that, Chief. Up next after Kana, we have Koharu, who, if I remember correctly, wasn't... Okay, I thought she was a launch character for Extreme Venus Vacation. I was wrong. Daughter of a couple who owned a ryokan. In large part because of this, she aspired to become a hostess of her own inn. While growing up, during her breaks, she often went to the relaxation room and read various books. So she's passionate. So she's very passionate about stuff that she likes and is willing to study up on it to learn more. Okay. Massively later love of classical Japanese literature. So she's also educated. She learned scant details about stargazing. Okay, so she also likes astrology to an extent. Okay. You forgot this game had lore. A lot of people forget it has lore. Owing to her desired career choice, Koharu is shown to be meek, dutiful, and submissive. Okay, so she's not a very loud, so she's a quiet type, basically. She utilizes respectful terms towards the owner and to a lesser degree to the other girls. Okay, so highly respectful to other people around her. And apparently will do so until someone tells her you don't need to do that. She at times refers to herself in third person. Okay, that's an interesting quirk, though not nearly to the same extent. This trait likewise is toned down in the... Okay, so that's a localization thing. She has some degree of insecurities about herself and whether she'll succeed, even deliberately going to the island to ensure she doesn't go easy. Yeah, so she's dedicated to what she does. Tending to lament whenever she makes a mistake and getting apologetic. Okay, so she takes mistakes very seriously. So basically, Koharu is the definition of that quiet girl who knows exactly what she wants to do and will work her ass off to make it happen, and kind of needs somebody to level her out a bit. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like girlfriend material to me. Alright, so after Koharu, we have Lobelia. Nice. So I'm gonna be honest, I know absolutely nothing about this girl, so I will say that is some interesting fashion choice. Owing to her horticultural expertise, she tends to make flower comparisons, so she's a florist kind of character, very interested in flowers, fluent in flower language, able to deduce girls' names by comparing their statures to those of flowering plants. I can honestly say I've actually never met anyone in person who can do that. Like, I know, like, I've heard of people. Oh, pardon me. She's a botanist then. Yeah, apparently. So she's kind of high society and aristocratic, but at the same time seems at least down to earth enough that she would be very self-aware of like her quirks, and is apparently not without a sense of humor. Speaking solely for myself, I think Lobelia would be a close friend. I'm not sure. Like her, like, I have nothing against her being like super passionate about flowers and being a botanist. Like, if that's her thing, that's her thing. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But that's just not something that I would personally find common ground with necessarily. That being said, though, if I would be willing to like learn about it. Like, I'd hang out with her and like listen to her talk about it maybe, and clearly she's not against pulling some pranks, and I am all for a harmless prank. So nothing against that. So up next, after Lobelia, we have Luna. And Luna, if I remember correctly, yeah, Luna was the first post-launch character for Extreme Venus Vacation. So she's a traveling scholar, so she like travels around and writes about it, I guess. She is noted to be self-absorbed and yet seems somewhat emotionless. Okay, that's already a bit of a red flag for me. She claims to be a scholar coming to the Venus Islands to discover its secrets, although it's uncertain whether this is true or whether she is really just there for the roasted sweet potatoes, which is her favorite food, which she implies is because they give her fond memories of her time with her grandfather in her home country. Interesting. Besides her love of roasted sweet potatoes, she has also implied that in her character episodes to have a very large appetite. Okay. She is somewhat eccentric, that's putting it lightly. She tends to use rabbit-like poses. Interesting. Putting her hands over her eyes in a similar manner to goggles. Okay, so what I'm getting here is she's the weird one. Even using automatopoeias for hopping, definitely the weird one. Once she even requested that Kasumi lather her up even more when the latter indicated the soap suds made her look like a rabbit. Definitely the weird one. So what I'm gathering from this is that Luna's that one weird fucking Rebenchum immediately like wife. Why does it not shock me that would be wife material to you, bro? Why does that not shock me in the slightest? Oh my goodness. Speaking for myself though, I'm gonna go with acquaintance for this. She definitely sounds like you would never have a boring moment with this girl, but speaking for me personally, I think I'd be more comfortable as an acquaintance. Weird is different and probably fun. Honestly, fair. Totally fair. All I'm saying is that when you're weird enough to the point that people around you are looking at you and thinking you're a literal alien, like, I mean, I wouldn't go that far on assuming something about somebody, but, put it this way, I wouldn't necessarily be her friend, but I wouldn't be against being around for her antics. Aliens exist in the DOA universe? To my knowledge, no. Like, supernatural beings like Oni and Kitsunes and ogres do exist. Zack. Oh yeah, because Zack literally has an alien costume. I actually completely forgot. Up next, we have Meg, and Meg is another one of the more recent girls. Like, if I'm just going off of appearance, I'm getting kind of ditzy vibes from her. Personality, not a lot to go on here. Okay. At her core, Meg has a very laid-back and mischievous personality, including slacking off while on duty. Okay, so she's lazy. It's indicated her tendency to slack off is partly due to her rooted in her insecurities about being incompetent and a fear of failure. Oh, so she's afraid of messing up, so she doesn't put effort into it. Gotcha. Despite her laid-back demeanor, however, she was shown to be astute, as she immediately deduced her regular customer was in fact the owner of the Venus Islands, due to his tending to have documents all over his spot, deduce certain Oh, so she's not dumb. Okay. I looked at her appearance and immediately thought she kind of comes off as a ditz. But like actually reading this now, apparently, so she has a bit of a lazy tendency due more to insecurity than anything else. Okay, I'm actually kind of caught between close friend and girlfriend material here. Just to be on the safe side, I'll put her in close friend, because she honestly just seems like she needs somebody to help her be more confident in her own work ethic. And I feel like if she has someone to help her gain a bit more confidence, she'll probably be way better at what she does. But like I said, it takes more than appearance to actually, you know, form an opinion on something. But all right, after Meg, we have Misaki. So Misaki is actually one of the main girls from the Venus games. Okay, so let's have a look. She's very cute. She's very attractive. Let's see. Misaki is a shy individual, and as such is often exceedingly reluctant to pose in particularly skimpy attire. So she's modest. Okay, I can get behind that. Preferring to wear a sweatshirt over her swimwear. I can get behind someone with you know, some dignity. I can get behind that. Shown to be somewhat naive, as she believes Zack's claim that the statue on the island was dedicated to its god from ancient times. Okay, so she's not the brightest crayon in the box, apparently. So she's very shy, but she's not against taking control when she needs to. She's clearly very polite and very nice to people, and apparently very modest as well, which I have a lot of respect for. Honestly, I could go friend or girlfriend with that in mind. You know what? I'll put Misaki in girlfriend material, because she definitely seems like the kind of person who can definitely improve if she's with the right person. And I can definitely see her like becoming more confident if she's with someone to kind of help her get out of her shell. Like, she's also clearly very polite and nice to people. She's very modest, which I'm honestly fine with. So after Misaki, we have Monica. So this is a character that I admittedly have absolutely no knowledge of. Befitting her dealer occupation, she loves to play games of chance. She also has a bit of a seductive side to her, so she's kind of flirty, as evidenced by her placing a card between her tits. Okay, already putting her a bit more
Lord
up there.
Have mercy, I'm about to bust.
And she does this apparently when she first meets the player character of the vacation games. She does that on the first greeting. Feels bound to follow the rules of the game, whether she is at an advantage or not, with her frequently stating the rules are absolute. Largely because of this, she also gets upset when her opponent quits when they have the advantage, as evidenced by her confronting the owner on why the latter folded despite having the winning hand. So apparently she's a gambler. She loves rolling the dice and is a flirt. So that's kind of all we have on her. I'm gonna put her in acquaintance, if only because there's just not much else on her. Like, don't get me wrong, she's hot. Like every other girl on this list, she's hot as fuck. But you know, the fact that all we really know about her is she loves to gamble, she loves to hope, she loves the game, she loves rolling the dice. You know, she loves to flirt. She apparently flirts with you on the first meeting and follows the rules of the game to the letter. And that's pretty much all we know, so yeah, I'm just gonna put acquaintance there, if only because we don't really know much else about her. And up next we have Nagisa. So if I remember correctly, isn't Nagisa so Nagisa is Misaki's older sister. That is one hell of a choice for an outfit. Elements of Nagisa's personality are unclear, although she is shown to have a bit of a rude disposition. Okay. She sometimes bends over as if mooning someone, and does... Oh, she does the whole, like, sticking out the tongue, pulling down the eyelid. Like, she does that expression while bending over like she's mooning somebody. Okay. Shown to be very embarrassed to wear revealing outfits to a greater extent, more than her sister. Interesting. She has a stuffed Shiba Inu that she carries around. Interesting. She's also shown to be very sensitive towards any weight gain she may have undergone, so a lot of her personality seems to revolve around her relationship with her sister. And apparently outside of that, all we really know is that she's rude. She's very rude, apparently is even more modest than Misaki, although all I'm saying is that outfit says otherwise. I'm definitely getting more of an acquaintance vibe with her. Like she's definitely hot, and you know, apparently is modest like her sister, but apparently is rude to people. Yeah, I'm gonna go with acquaintance for Nagisa. Not really much else to say there. Moving on. Now up next we have Nanami. Now I think Nanami is also a launch character? No, she isn't. Okay, so she's a high school student, so she's a teenager. So she's barely legal then. Okay, that already kind of has me like, I don't know. Nanami is noted to have a cool yet kind demeanor. She also at times has a slightly pranking demeanor. Okay, so kind of a similar vibe to Lobelia then. When she initially made it seem as though she was going to photograph the moon during her late night date with the owner, only to reveal afterwards she actually intended to take the picture of the owner himself, as well as after going through her self-introduction, proceeding to take the camera and try to get the owner to introduce himself. She also displayed a similar teasing nature to Misaki when she illicitly took a picture of her, and I'm guessing that's like a swimsuit, as well as promptly staring at Misaki when they decided to show off a little. Okay, so if I'm being completely honest, she, as cute as she is, and she definitely sounds like she might be fun to hang out with, I wouldn't really see her being much more than an acquaintance, personally. If only because the age difference would kind of have me feeling a little awkward. Up next is the most recent, literally the most recent addition to Venus Vacation, Nozomi.
I'ma eat it.
When I say latest edition, I mean she was added earlier this year. Yeah, the fact that we have absolutely nothing about her personality here kind of says it all. Purely on the basis that we have nothing on her, she would be in the acquaintance category. Like she looks nice. She's hot as hell. Like very, you know, I actually kind of like her. I kind of like her style there. Very kind of blends formal and showy in an interesting way. Up next we have Patty. So Patty is the island girl. Okay. Patty is a young woman who first appeared in the April 30th, 2020 update. Okay, so yeah, she's an island native. She is shown to have a very excited and peppy demeanor. Additionally, in the Japanese version, she refers to herself in the third person. I mean, it's a quirk, but not a flaw. Also similar to those characters, okay, she is also shown to be somewhat eccentric, as she seems to treat her radio as if it was an actual person. Okay, even referring to it with the honorific san in the Japanese version, and she tends to smell newly acquainted people oh, so she like walks up to people and like sniffs at them to determine their overall nature, and even to win a card game once. Interesting. The keen sense of smell can be negatively impacted when she wears perfume, which she discovered the hard way when the perfume had her misinterpreting the owner's smell as dislike, which prompted her to jump into the pool to wash it off. That's actually funny. Owing to her growing up in isolation from the rest of civilization up until stumbling on the Venus Festival, she's unfamiliar with various customs such as fashion statements, the concept of school, as well as manga. Tamaki, Misaki, and Tsukushi ended up having to teach her the respective concepts. In a similar note, largely for the same reason, she is also prone to doing stuff that is technically considered immodest due to being completely oblivious to standard societal customs, such as using the upper portion of her blouse to fan herself in public. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I would date this girl. She honestly sounds like she'd be fun to be around. Like, it probably comes from the fact that I actually like explaining things to people. Like, I actually love sharing things and explaining things to people. And like, I even hyper fixate on the concept of sharing music I enjoy with people. Like that sort of thing I'm actually perfectly fine doing. So yeah, I'm gonna put Patty in girlfriend material, because I would genuinely enjoy getting closer to her while, you know, teaching her things. I would genuinely enjoy that. Like, and plus if she's like very excited and peppy, like when I think excited and peppy, I think like Mina Ashido from My Hero Academia, which honestly, that kind of character I absolutely love. Like, that's the kind of person I could absolutely hang out with for hours at a time. So up next we have another recent one. We have Reika.
Nice.
Okay, Reika is a student and a part-time lifeguard. Interesting. So Reika appears unfriendly and aloof, which has her initially treat the owner, and to a lesser extent the other girls, in a cold manner. Okay, so she kind of comes off as very, very isolated and cold. She doesn't concern herself with anything barring her immediate duties, like Elise, though to a greater extent as evidenced by how she initially refused to make small talk with Tsukushi and Kana when they first met, since they weren't planning to swim. Okay, so when she's a lifeguard, she is a lifeguard and nothing the fuck else. Gotcha. Very focused. I actually respect that. Despite her aloof demeanor, she does nevertheless possess a kind heart, as she freely allowed Tsukushi to observe and draw her while she was doing her lifeguard duties, as well as, albeit reluctantly, engaging in a swim match, wow dude, against Kana. Likewise, she also attempted to provide first aid to Misaki when she sprained her. Okay, so she does care. Also implied, after she and Sayori helped her, that she would have tried to help Hisaki regardless of being a lifeguard or not. Okay, so she's actually she's a kind-hearted and helping person. Like, she's the kind of person to immediately run to help someone if they're hurt. So she comes off as cold initially, but like the longer you get to know her, the more she opens up. I would see her being a close friend. I think it would be a bit soon to say girlfriend, because it says that she opens up. It doesn't say how much she opens up, and unfortunately there is no stateside release of Venus Vacation, so I can't find out for myself. Like, she sees somebody get hurt, and she's immediately getting up and running over to see if they're okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I am 100% cool with someone like that. I can be friends with someone like that. And hey, maybe if there's more development for her, maybe girlfriend material. Okay, up next we have Sayori. Sayori is quite a popular one among the DOA Xtreme fans. Is a young aspiring nurse. So she has at least some medical experience. Successfully trained as a nurse, had a knack for making her patients feel comfortable. Okay, that's cool. It is implied she did her job too well, which caused her to be let go as her patients didn't want to leave. Oh god, she's one of those nurses. She's one of those nurses who makes you feel so welcome and so comfortable there that you just don't want to leave the hospital. Oh god, okay, I can already see where this is going. So she's the big sister / motherly type who also happens to be a nurse. So she's very warm and caring for people and always wants to help. and apparently was so good at her job that nobody wanted to leave. That her patients just didn't want to fucking leave because they liked being around her so much. And honestly, just taking a look at her and with this in mind, yeah, I kind of see it. I definitely see it. So honestly, with all that in mind, I would say she's girlfriend material. Like she's a keeper. Yeah, like what you said, Crown. She's a keeper. She is 100% a keeper. That's a girl. That is a girl that if you manage to land her as a girlfriend, you keep her around for a while. Actually, you know what? Based on what I just read and how nice of a person she is, I would even go as far as to say she is wife material. I would say she is straight up wife material. She is the first Venus character to actually be considered wife material, guys. Holy shit. Yeah, that's wife material. Right there. Like that is someone you keep around long term. And all I'm gonna say is you managed to land her as a girlfriend and you somehow messed that up. You have nobody to blame but your fucking self at that point. Like, damn. Up next we have Shandy, who I think is also a more recent one, sort of. Went to the Venus Islands with the intent of killing boredom. Okay, so she literally went there because she was bored. Interesting. She also has a bit of a cynical and distrusting demeanor, partly due to a bad experience with a customer's insincere flirting. I mean, kind of fair. However, she has a bit of an easygoing and teasing demeanor deep down, which the owner helped expose during a photo shoot. Largely because of her bartending profession, she also has a knack for reading people's natures and for keeping secrets, as she admitted to Kasumi in a heart-to-heart. So she Also, apparently, according to this, her real name is Faye, which is a Chinese name. So apparently, she's actually, I mean, it says place of birth and nationality are unknown, but her real name implies that she's Chinese. I would say probably she would be acquaintance level for me, because I'm just speaking for how I can be as a person. If I go up to somebody and I greet them, and the first impression I get is that they don't really want to talk to me, or they don't see me, or they don't really want me around, or they don't find me trustworthy, or they think I'm weird. Like, if I get the impression that me greeting them is not welcome, then I just leave them alone. So yeah, I think at best, Shandy would probably be an acquaintance. Up next, okay, so this next girl is actually one of my favorites from the Venus roster. Shizuku.
Nice.
Shizuku she's a kitsune. She's actually a kitsune. Like, she's actually a fox girl. Personality: Shizuku is shown to be very shy, which is implied to be due to nervousness at exposing her kitsune background. So she's just generally shy. Gotcha. She is also able to converse with animals, particularly squirrels, which I honestly kind of find cute. With it being implied her ability to talk to them was due to her kitsune powers. Despite being of kitsune origin, she has a more benevolent nature to her, what is especially evident in her rushing to save the owner in the first episode after hearing him fall into the ocean and nearly drown. Like, I'll be honest, I genuinely really like Shizuku, and I would put her in close friend purely because every time I see her, the first thing I want to do is just hug her. I just want to give her a hug and just pat her on the head. I wouldn't go as far as to say she's girlfriend material, but I would absolutely be a close friend with her. Up next we have Tsukushi, so another favorite of mine. I actually really like this girl. Is a nerdy young student and a manga artist, and yeah, she's a college student. She's studying art, and she's a mangaka. They have a lot on her personality here. Holy shit. Okay, here we go. She is shown to be fairly shy to the extent of cowering behind a sketchbook if the owner finds her, as well as doing a pratfall upon discovering the owner being in the bathroom, and doing a desperate gesture to ward him off while begging him not to approach her. She also has an artistic side to her, often drawing quietly by herself. Owing to her shyness, she also at times stutters, and at one point deeply considered just going back to her room before Misaki arrived to guide her through the island due to being overwhelmed by the bustling crowds. Okay, so she's definitely the shy gal. Definitely the shy one. Came to the island for sightseeing and to see all the Venuses, the girls. Aside from this, she was also shown to have severe depression relating to her inability to socialize, which means she's someone that I would absolutely connect with. And her failure to publish a manga. I mean, just because you fail once, that doesn't mean you fail for the rest of your life. Just keep trying. Even with her even referencing herself as being a gloomy, nerdy, or shy girl. And when the owner not only suggested she join the Venus Festival, but also inferred that she was cute, she was taken aback and demanded to know what made the owner think she was in any way cute, while stammering, implying that Tsukushi was deeply insecure about her physical appearance. And I'm just gonna pause for a second and say, how the hell can you be insecure about your appearance? You are fucking adorable. And also hot as hell. Getting Velma vibes? Yeah, like Velma if she was a shy girl, yeah. Pure honesty, I feel like I would relate to her a lot. I would say Tsukushi is girlfriend material. At least for me. At least for me. She definitely, like, there's a lot of overlap between my personality and hers. The only difference is that she hyper-focuses on manga and drawing. My hyper-focus tends to be on music, so we have that much in common at least. So yeah, I could see it working. Plus I find shyness attractive, so you know, there's that as well. And now the last girl of the bunch, Yukino. Yukino is a young student and a gyaru. Yeah, I'm definitely getting gyaru vibes from her. 100%. She made her debut in the Japanese Steam version of... Okay, so she was released in 2017. Yukino is outgoing and has a bubbly personality. She spends most of her time taking selfies and being on her phone. So yeah, what's a gyaru? So gyaru it's a subculture in Japan where girls go out of their way to be the opposite of what is considered conventional beauty, basically. So like when you think of, you know, Japanese girls and what's considered attractive in Japan, you think, you know, quiet, submissive in a lot of cases, dark hair that's kept very straight, neatly trimmed. Gyaru is the opposite of that. So a gyaru girl, you know, they'll dye their hair like a very bright color, like they'll bleach it, or it'll be like strawberry blonde or something like that. They'll have long, fake, and brightly colored nails a lot of the time. You know, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them will have very noticeable tans. Some of them very fake. Like, they'll have very noticeable tans a lot of the time. They'll have very, very loud makeup. Like, when I say loud makeup, I mean you take one look at them and the first thing you're gonna notice is the makeup. Like, that kind of makeup. And, like, when you look at, like high school-centric anime that have gyaru characters, they'll often accessorize their uniforms to be, like, more revealing. Like, they will strain the dress code as far as they can push it. And, like, they'll often wear clothing that's very bright and showy and flashy, basically. Like, Yukino clearly doesn't have, like, a tan, for example. Like, she doesn't have a tan, but she obviously dyes her hair. She clearly has the fake nails going. You know, she's wearing showy outfits, like I mean, hell, her belt is literally leopard print. So and yeah, her background definitely explains a lot. She grew up in a strict household. Initially went to a girls' private school. She had friends during that time. She wasn't satisfied with the fashion choices available to her. When she discovered a magazine cover featuring Tamaki, who, as we've established, used to be a model and is now a fashion designer, she grew to idolize her, and basically started going into more of a gyaru fashion style because of her admiration for Tamaki, which, honestly, valid. So honestly, like, based on what I'm reading in her relationships, like, she's apparently, like, very friendly with people. and like she's obviously outgoing and willing to socialize with everybody. The only thing that I would personally not exactly be down for is just her constantly taking selfies everywhere she goes, like for friggin' Instagram model stuff. At some point I would just be like, can you put the phone down now? I'm trying to talk to you, please. Yeah, I would absolutely see, at the very least, I would see her being a close friend, if not also a girlfriend. And with that, we are at the end. So summarizing it all, now that we are here at the very end, on the bottom tier, and I am going to explain it, in no category, we have Alpha 152, Christy, Nico, and Kana. Alpha 152 because she's literally a mindless killing machine. Christy because I tend to draw the line when someone is a cutthroat, cold-blooded contract killer. Yeah, I draw the line at murderer. Nico, she just kind of comes off as being robotic and sees everybody as a guinea pig, which I don't really gel with personally. Even as an acquaintance, I wouldn't really get along with that person. And Kana, cute as she is, the fact that she apparently knows how to dox people is an instant red flag. And then in cute and hot acquaintance, we have Kokoro, Kula, Naotora, Paichan, Sarah Bryant, Azusa, that's Luna, and I believe that's actually Monica. That's Monica, okay. So Luna, Monica, and then Nagisa, Nanami, I believe that is. Nanami, Nozomi, and Shandy are in acquaintance. Close friend, we have Ayane, Lisa, Marie, Momiji, Lobelia, Meg, Reika, Shizuku, and Yukino. In possible friends with benefits, we just have Neotengu. In girlfriend material, we have Honoka, Kasumi, Lei Feng, Mila, Tamaki, Tina, and then we have Amy, Elise, Koharu, Misaki, Patty, and Tsukushi. And then at the top in wife material, we have Helena Douglas, Hitomi, Mai Shiranui, Rachel, and Sayuri. And that's my final tier list, guys. Whew. And I have just been talking nonstop for nearly 5 friggin' hours. Holy shit. I'm gonna be surprised if I have a voice tomorrow. Alright, we are going to raid out to Wisp Luna, who is a goth VTuber. I'm actually not really sure what they are. I think they're like a ram. She goes by the name Luna, but I think she's like a ram VTuber, I think, with like a lot of goth edge. And and she's not someone I've raided out to before. She's currently playing Tomodachi Life, so if y'all want some more chill vibes, then y'all are about to get more chill vibes. Like I said, I'll be playing DOA tomorrow, so we'll be back into the more action-packed stuff that I usually do tomorrow. And thanks everyone who hung out in chat today. Thanks everybody who lurked as well. Nothing but love for y'all. Thank you all so much for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow for DOA. Until then, stay metal, brethren. Peace out.